Hey Rangers, today we have the Captain America Black Panther Web Exclusive Figuarts, and we're going to have a look at the box. First of all, we have a lovely picture of Black Panther. On the side, it just says Black Panther or Team Iron Man Black Panther. We have some pose ability on the back. We have a picture of Black Panther. Top, Captain America, it says Team Iron Man Black Panther. So let's open this bad boy and have a look inside. So first of all, I will say that this figure is very heavily textured as well as quite a lot of detail. Now I don't know if the camera is going to pick it all up, but I will point it out as much as I can. Now I really like the silver lines going across his helmet, or his mask if you want to call it, and the silver eyes. They seem very menacing there. They stand out quite a lot. When we move down here with the silver, you can see just on where his mouth would be, there's loads of little dots. They've referenced it a lot from the film and actually put it straight into this figure, which I really like. So when we look at his necklace, the spikes, they're all silver and they're all pointed and jagged, which looks really cool. When you run your finger over them, you can actually feel that they stand out rather than they don't and then just be kind of like painted on. So when we look going down his kind of chest, more detail towards the dots where seems to be really cool, and there's a lot of texture. If you ever get one, you'll notice it straight away. So when we look down at his chest, his lower region here, I'm blown away with the amount of detail. Even though if it's in black, it still stands out a lot, and I'm glad that when the light hits it, you can tell. I mean, just by looking at just here, we can see there's more markings on his chest here, on his gauntlets as well as his arm, that they've not really left any detail out, and it stands out so well on this one. I would kind of guess this with it being a web exclusive, that they've put more time and effort into it compared to the others. Now, if we come and look here, we've got little silver parts just here and here. So I don't know if that's part of his weaponry or if it's just part of the costume, but it kind of stands out just a little bit. When we look at the side of his gauntlets, we can see here it's a little spike there, so it would be due to combat, but then the silver line goes along his arm there. And when we look at this side, again, it does the same thing. On his legs here, we can see just there that there's more kind of raised, as long as the costume detail, as well as on the kneecaps. Again, it's the same sort of texture above where it's just dotted. And then the boots, although there's not a lot, when you run your finger about it, it just feels like a normal boot. So there's no kind of raised texture. But when we look at here, we can see there's more detail along there. And then obviously it comes down as well as just there as well, and it doesn't really stop with the texture. It actually comes up from there and actually on there as well. There's a line that goes down that would symbolize if there was any on the leather, like a kind of ridge or kind of sew seam. I think that's sew seam, a seam anyway. And again, we can see it on this side as well. When we come to look at the back of the figure, there's still quite a lot of detail, and I thought they would have skimmed over this for some strange reason. But when we come looking at the helmet, we can see that the lines engraved. It's not just kind of drawn on, they've actually put it into the figure. And then when we look at his neck, we can see that it's got the same sort of texture, and it's not just like a plain black. So we've got more of the raised kind of bumps along there, and we can see that there's also kind of it looks like, I'm guessing, leather straps. For some strange reason, this also reminds me of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for some bizarre reason, I don't know. But when we look at his shoulder pads here, there's more lines, it's kind of raised a little bit, and they do look genuinely cool. Moving down along his gauntlets, we see there's more silver, and that they've not just kind of left it out. And then we've got more kind of lines along his bum, as well as kind of his upper part, and on his legs, there's the lines around here. Again, cool, lots of detail they put in. I actually really like it. We have the same sort of joints as the other ones. I'm not a huge fan, but this one really blends in. I would have loved it if they've been able to put the texture on the joints. That would have been absolutely awesome. And then when it comes to the back, there's really not much there. It's just some more lines to where if you were wearing boots or shoes. As with all figures, we do kind of a stress test to see what happens. So the balls on the joint, the ball on his foot is fine. It moves all the way around like that. And it moves up and down. Again, his toes move too. The same thing with the other one. His toes move, so if you want to place them on rocks or something, you can do. Now, let's have a look at the knee joints. That's fine. I thought it would go back a little bit further, but it doesn't. But yeah, it would have been cool if it went a bit further back. Same thing here. Now it's a little bit stiff, the joints. I had a bit of a movement around to see if it was like the Tony Stark figure before, The legs are very kind of stiff to kind of do stuff with. Let's do that one. There you go. Kind of moves around. Torso is fine. You can see even like when we move the torso, there's like just there, if you can see it, there's like I didn't notice this, but there's like little inscribings along the actual like the joints. That's really cool. Not joints, the thingy. So one thing I liked here is that it comes out, so it looks like he can really be posable. I like that on the arm. So the arm goes all the way around. So does his hands. Let's move it around. So it's a little bit stiff. Like that. Again, that comes out to reveal another joint like that. And then his head. So his head turns all the way around, like so. It moves up and down, like so. With Black Panther, you only get a set of hands, and I don't know, I'm kind of disappointed that you would get this rather than compared to others that we've talked about in the past, where you'd get more hands. So first of all, we just have an array of different hands. Here's kind of like striking hands, and then kind of like grappling hands, and that's about it. So my kind of final thoughts on this is that he's not bad. Black Panther is a nice addition to the Figuarts, the kind of the family range, but I'm not kind of too sold on his movement. The way that the figure is, it's kind of a little bit stiff, and it does remind me of Tony when we reviewed him a while ago. Now, I do like the detail on this figure. I like the fact that when I was looking at it, even if I missed, when it came to along his chest, there was like small markings which were possibly on the actual on the costume, and I like the fact that they've taken the time. I really like the texture on the figure as well. These sorts of places here, they looked really cool, and it kind of stood out. And I think all the figures that I've ever reviewed, this is the one that has more texture to it. I possibly wouldn't have had him as a web exclusive. I probably would have had him as a normal character that you could get. I think for the money that you're paying for him, I think it's a little bit expensive due to the fact is that the joints, they don't work well compared to it. When you look at Black Widow, and Black Widow moved really smoothly, very fluid, which I really liked. And it does feel that they may have kind of rushed this a tiny bit when it came to posing. Now, when it comes to his arms, when I said that these pop out, as in like they come out a bit further, that I really like. That is cool. I've not really seen that before on any of the other figures, and that made it a lot better for me. Kind of on my final thoughts, I would have possibly have skipped this figure, but due to the fact is I wanted to collect all the Marvel range, but I kind of don't think I will now. I wanted to add him to my collection. I just liked the look of him when he came to pre-ordering, but for a web exclusive, I wouldn't have had him for that. So that's kind of my thoughts. What are your thoughts, Rangers? Do you like the figure? Do you not? What are your pros and cons? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the other videos on the channel, and as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.